What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we haven't been talking about summertime niche enough lately. I just don't think we have. And I've been spraying my share here and there, and I've got 7 picks in particular. They're on the affordable side that you can get under $100. Most of these you can get in the $50 to $80 range. That are some really good options for the high heat this summer. Some of these are known favorites. Some of these are a bit more obscure and don't get a lot of spotlight, but all 7 are great for this time of year. That'll give you a more photorealistic, bright, fresh citrus smell and so on for all the different notes that they have. So let's discuss them. Stay tuned. Clementine, sweet orange, lime, a little zesty, a little green. Atelier Cologne, Clementine, California. This is one I picked up because of my buddy Chad from the channel A Gentleman's Journey. It's so watery fresh. That's another thing I forgot to mention, how watery fresh aquatic it is. It's not a salty marine kind of fragrance. It is straight up fresh water. With this lime-like smell from Clementine, a little bit of orange with that as well, a hint of green and spice to give a little bit of vigor and zest. Not a super long-lasting fragrance because it is mostly naturals. It says on the bottle 92% of ingredients are of natural origin. That's one of the things I love about Atelier Cologne. You have to temper your performance expectations to get just an overwhelmingly natural experience. Photorealistic stuff, just beautiful. Typically, I get around 4 to 5 hours. They do parfum extracts. All of their fragrances are 25% oil concentration and above. This, and you can have 100 ml for around $75 to $85. I'll have links down below in the description for anybody that wants to check these out. But you should explore more from this house. Orange Sanguine, Pomelo Paradise, Pacific Lime. They've got a ton of great options that are affordable for the summer, but one of their poster children for the summer is definitely Clementine, California. Do you like juicy fig? A little bit bitter, some tropical tones to it, aquatic, a bit green. Mad Aqua Sextius. You can get this one for a decent price. 50 mLs like this are going to run you around 80 bucks. It's actually got a really good performance. There's a bitter nature to it. There's a warmth while still being very fresh and, like I said, juicy and watery. But that fig really shines. One of the better fig fragrances that's out there. Kind of a unique experience. It kind of falls into a family of other tropical and fig fragrances while still standing on its own. When you smell it next to all the ones people will tell you it's similar to on the internet, it's not as similar as they would like you to believe. This is actually really good stuff. One that, believe it or not, I have yet to spray this summer myself. And actually, we're going to give a little spritz on the hand right now and kind of enjoy it in the moment, shall we? Because if you like fig, this is one of the better ones I've ever smelled. It's got this astringence to it. Again, it's watery. There's a hint of spice that give it more this zesty tone. A little bitter, but again, I go back to that word, juicy. Very juicy figs. Man, this is so good. 8+ hours in performance, easily in longevity. I do think it leans a little bit on the masculine side, but again, I think anybody can wear this one. It's still perfectly unisex with a little bit of a masculine lean. So good. Even has this kind of sunscreen-like feel to it without being just coconut dominant. It's great for the summer. It's Aqua Sextius. Even though it came out before Cedrat Boisé, I've always looked at this as kind of Cedrat Boisé eau fraiche. Because if you strip away the leather in the woods, most of the woods, and you add even more citrus, you'll get wild fruits from Mancera. This is such an underrated gem from the house. We're going to spray this one on the other hand. What the hell? Because this is really good. You still get that black currant tie-in with lemon and everything, but there's a multitude of other citruses. Green citruses, oranges. Watery, super fresh. Still a really good performer, not a beast. But for high heat, outdoors, man, this really does the trick. It's actually quite impressive. What's even more impressive is that it gets no love. No love. The problem, I think, the biggest problem with Mancera and Montale is there's so many that come out year in and year out that so many get lost in the shuffle and the hustle and bustle of new fragrances coming out. That, look, this came out in like 2011 or something like that, if I remember correctly. Been out a long time, still in production, still easy to get, around 75, 80 bucks. Totally worth having in the summer. Let's shine some light on wild fruits this summer because this deserves it. A lot of you are missing out on this fragrance. Hell, if I was to recommend just one out of this video, it's probably this one. It is that good. It's highly versatile, so enjoyable, really good performance, has a familiarity, but still its own thing. Check it out this summer, Mancera Wild Fruits. Old school, super affordable. It's rebottled. It's a little reformulated. I never smelled the original formula, but it's from one of my favorite affordable niche houses. And I say affordable because they get pretty affordable from discounters. I have like 7 fragrances from them at this point. We're talking about Jacques Fath, but specifically we're talking about green water. Some of you may have expected like Curaçao Bay or something along those lines, but this deserves some love too. Typically I talk about Curaçao Bay and Verlassou, but green water is actually really, really good. It's watery, fresh green, obviously, some white florals. Neroli, things of that sort, a little bit of spice. Kind of falls in that Neroli Portofino family, but much greener overall, hence the color in the name. A very fresh green fragrance. Sure, it works great for the spring because the dominance in greens just screams springtime weather, but the watery aquatic tones and nature of this fragrance, the overall freshness, really offers it to be just special in the summertime. Now, it's not short-lived, but it's also not long-lasting. This is one that's going to fall in that 4 to 5 hour range in longevity. Just reapply, but what it comes down to is just the beautiful experience of the quality of the ingredients here. It's a timeless classic blend. It's really good stuff. You can get 50 mLs like this for a really, really good price online. I'll try to have it linked down below for you guys. This is Jacques Fath Green Water. Now, I'm terrible at pronouncing this. I paid like 75. 70. Something like that. You can find it under 80, 85 bucks. Most places online. Anywhere from like 60 to 80 is kind of going rate, which I think is an absolute steal for this Nishane fragrance. Colonise? Colognise? Forgive me. I've had a few people tell me how to pronounce it, and it's just, I know it's one of those that just kind of gets me every time, but another one ties into fresh greens and neroli and stuff like that, but for as beautifully fresh, bright, and vibrant as this is, it takes a big, drastic turn as it dries down and actually has this earthy vetiver feel to it. Starts off kind of similar to how green water does. Fresh, not as watery, citrus, greens, things like that without being super spicy. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty of this dry down, it's got some backbone, it's got some balls to it. It's got this earthy, smoked vetiver, a little dirty, grassy kind of feel to it. Quality is magnificent. I mean, it's just such a great fragrance. Surprising performance, too. They call it an extrait de Cologne. I think the reasoning for that, now this is an assumption, is because it's an extrait concentration, pure parfum, but fresh like an eau de cologne, something that would be considered a cologne concentration. Kind of like Raja Dove's Parfum Cologne line, where they are parfum concentrations, but they're blended to have a top note freshness of a cologne, an eau de cologne. I think that's kind of the same premise here, because that's exactly how it acts and performs. It's very bright, very fresh and airy in the top, and has some dense, deep layers underneath that give it lasting longevity and real presence in the dry down. This is a special fragrance for the money. It's Nishane's Colognise, something like that. You want to talk watery, fresh fruits. I believe there's a little bit of kumquat in here as well. This does not get any love. Super watery, airy, fresh. Another one from Pierre Montale, only this time in the Montale range. This is Soleil de Capri. Game changer. Game changer. This stuff, oh, nobody gives it no love. And I don't know why. Okay, I believe it's kumquat. So it's got that unique fresh fruitiness without being super sweet, but has this juicy, watery appeal. I believe it even has watery notes or some kind of aquatic tones, a little bit of a clean, musky nature. It's not all that complex. There's not a lot going on here, but it is delightfully fresh, really good quality. I wouldn't call it upper level luxury, but definitely a few cuts above what you would consider designer synthetic kind of stuff with great performance. Really, really good longevity that kind of, I don't want to say cuts through the high heat, but survives. It puts up a really good fight to give you 8 hours of longevity out of this fragrance. And so refreshing on a hot summer's day. More people should really give this one a try, especially if you're familiar with the way kumquat smells in the opening of many fragrances, because it's not like it's some new note. It just doesn't get utilized as much as you would think. You might want to look into this one. It's from Montale. It's Soleil de Capri. Last but not least, perhaps the most iconic of the 7, perhaps the weakest performing of the 7, perhaps the most photorealistic of the 7. 5.1 ounce tester like this with cap. Run you around $60 for 150 ml of Acqua di Parma's Bergamotto di Calabria. I could have put a few from this line, this Blue Mediterranean line. I could have put a few in here. But this is arguably, at least for me, one of the best bergamot openings I've ever smelled. Like bergamot dominance. It's so good. It's not rindy. It's so fresh and juicy. Bright and uplifting. It's like a 3 to 4 hour fragrance at best. You got to keep it with you and refresh. Get this big 150 ml bottle and just refresh. Hell, we're going to wear it to the gym. I'm going to do 4 sprays. What the hell? Going to be a good leg day. Leg day was already going to be good. It just became great because of Bergamotto di Calabria. You can get this one for such a great price. So many in this line. Acqua di Parma as a whole, when it comes to their fresher fragrances that are very photorealistic with the way they come across, steals. Absolute steals. You just have to temper your performance expectations with these fragrances. Don't go into this looking for beasts, and please, for the love of God, don't have that mentality of, oh, if it doesn't perform well, it's trash. That's foolishness. Perfumery is about an experience, not about, I've got to make sure somebody smells me across the street for 10 hours. Stop it. There's a time and a place, I understand that, but stuff like this topic specifically, fragrances like this are superstars for this particular topic. Affordable, niche for high heat summer. Man, this line as a whole will give you such a diverse collection of greatness, but this one in particular, this and probably Fico di Amalfi are going to be your 2 poster children from this line for this topic, and that was kind of the 2 I was torn between showcasing. But if you like bergamot, I think it's the most popular perfume note, actually. If you like bergamot and you want to experience the upper level of bergamot dominance, get this summer. Acqua di Parma's Blue Mediterranean line, this Bergamotto di Calabria. Well, that's the 7 that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. Love hearing from you guys. Of these 7, what are you familiar with? Do you have a similar assessment to mine? Does your assessment vary greatly, slightly? Let me know down below. I'm curious. Like I said before, I'll try to have links to everything. I can't make any guarantees on what will and will not be in stock. But I will say, if you get your hands on any of these 7 and you give them a spray now, this summer in particular, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.